Hello everyone, this is Mumbo and welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 29 and today we are starting things off underneath the water and I am holding my Trident, which finally makes sense to me. Apparently this isn't really a combat tool, it's something that you use to move around in fast-paced situations. So you can kind of like fly in like this, do some attacking and stuff like that, and then you can shoot out of there with your Trident, or potentially hit someone with the Trident, and then come in, hit them with the sword a little bit, and then blast your way out. That makes total sense! Now, I actually quite like this thing, and of course, you know, being able to just take off using it, now that's quite something. So, a massive thank you to everyone that explained that down in the comment section. As I say, I'm now a Trident convert. I actually quite enjoy using this thing. But anyway, in today's Hermitcraft episode, we are going to be working on the city surrounding the island. So, in the previous episode, we built that big structure around the super smelter. Today, hopefully, we're going to work on the top of the kelp farm, make that look pretty, and also start work on some of the other construction. So, it's going to be a jam-packed episode with plenty of progress. But before we do anything, I've got to find my way to Iskall, who I'm assuming... No, okay, that's Coven Joe Hills. I've got to find my way to Iskall because, yeah, my Elytra, they're not faring too well. This is not where I want to be, but these pipes are the coolest things I think I've ever seen in my life. I am absolutely in love with them. And I am 100% going to do something... but I can't really do anything similar. No! Look at these! Oh my word, that's so beautiful. Oh, this style is not going to fit in with my base in the slightest, but I absolutely love it. I think I'm in awe. I'm in genuine awe. I think this is the coolest thing to have. Oh, it's even better when you can see them working. Ah. I also really like this kelp farm design too. Sadly, I couldn't find it in the nether, so I had to get here by boat, but... you know, I'm not going to complain too much because, I mean, this system, what would we do without it? I kind of miss having my own Guardian farm, though. I think that is a project that I would like to work on at some point because they're so much fun. And with these new soul sand designs, they look even cooler. Now that we've made it back home, I'm trying to run through ideas for this build. Now, the actual dimensions, I think, are 22 blocks across, and it's slightly skinnier, which is going to be kind of tricky. But I want it to have almost like this shape. Okay, I'm going to try and draw it. So it's going to go up like this, and it's going to go up like this on this side. It's basically going to come up towards a point in the middle. And then these areas are kind of going to be squares. Now, yeah, you know, I'm gonna build this in a creative world, I think. This hasn't really got off to the best of starts. This was kind of my idea, and I don't like it. No, I don't like it at all. Okay, we might have to go back to square one on this one. I don't know if this is a good idea either. So the idea was that you had kind of like 4 spikes coming up, and then maybe something going on around it, or maybe something on the inside, or something hovering above. But I don't know, I don't think that looks very good either. Yeah, no, that just doesn't do it quite for me. Connecting them kind of looks cooler, but it's still not hitting the spot for me. Okay, we might have to go back to square one again on this one. Alright, this has the possibility of being a little bit more on the interesting side. I think this is quite a cool concept. So we've got the base, and then we have everything popping up from there. And I would say we'll maybe have, I don't know, 4 or 5 of these modules going up, and then up at the top we'll have to build something interesting. I have no clue what that's going to be just yet. I think after multiple hours of working on this thing and multiple designs having been built and destroyed and reconstructed and everything, I think I've come up with something that I actually quite like, which is this sort of system right here. So we've got this top section up at the top, then you can see that, well, there is the actual structure itself, but on the top here we kind of have like this crazy viewing platform type thing, and I would say that all of this looks really futuristic. And then what we're going to go for is we're going to have almost like a structural system. So if we just go up like this and then have those quartz slabs like that, you can see that it's kind of being held up by those blocks there. And then actually, now that I'm looking, it could look quite cool if we add in some sea lanterns going around, just to make it look less like there's just slabs on the top. I mean, honestly, this is something that we can experiment with further. Okay, yeah, I'd say that's improved things. I still feel like we need a little bit more depth on the end here, so maybe even just adding in I don't know. Just a little something at the end. Even if it's something like that, that's actually quite cool. Yeah, I actually quite like that. So that stops it from looking quite so flat. So if we go down from here and do it on that side as well, how does that look? Well, whatever, it looks pretty interesting. I think it's safe to say that this thing looks quite interesting. And also the interesting thing about it is that we could potentially build this up like this, and then maybe have something in the middle here, potentially not built with glass, but with something else, and that could be supported, and then we could have a water elevator that's actually running up through the middle. That could definitely help us out. Except, I don't know if any of you have noticed, Papow, 4 blocks, Kapow, 5 blocks. I hate my life. Here's the issue though. At this point in time, we have got absolutely no quartz and absolutely no sand or gravel. So that means that we basically... Oh, and I don't have any packed ice either. So we basically don't have any of the resources required to build this thing. So I think it's time for a large-scale resource gathering mission. Now, I thought this would look good in the form of a third-person time-lapse. And in today's Superfast time-lapse chat, I actually want to talk to you about what I'm doing at this point in time while this video releases. So this video is going to be releasing on Thursday. The schedule is going to be slightly changed over the next week, simply because, once again, I am out of the country. I know it's been a ridiculous... I mean, this past kind of 40 days has been crazy, because obviously I went to the Philippines, we went on the filming trip there, and by the way, that went well. We have actually sent off the film to Blackmagic Design, who are the company that we were working with to produce it. We were shooting it on the Pocket Cinema camera. They like it, so it's all set to release. I think at this point in time, it's October the 10th. But I'm not 100% certain, but we're going to a big event in London and everything like that. It's all incredibly exciting. But that's besides the point. So we went to the Philippines, we filmed the mini documentary, we then came back, we were back for like a week and a half. Then we went off to Boston just recently for the Minecon Earth event, which once again went brilliantly. Thank you for all of the support on that one. And then came back home, and I've been at home for probably, I think, about 4 days. And now I'm off to Italy. I'm off to Italy for a wedding, not my own wedding, but yeah, it's the first wedding I've ever been to, so I've worn a suit for the first time. I've never worn a suit before, so I've got myself a suit, and, you know, I quite like it. I could definitely get used to wearing suits. They seem pretty fancy. So yeah, all very exciting, but completely manic. But one thing that I'm incredibly excited for, actually, is that while we're in Italy, I've actually bought an old Super 8 film camera, so an old, like, 1980s, I believe, film camera, and I've bought some film from Kodak, and I'm just going to... It's not going to be going anywhere, but I'm literally going to shoot, like, an old-school home video using this old, kind of electrically powered, wind-up, almost film camera, and I can't wait to see what the results look like. Probably very grainy and very blurry, but there's going to be something nostalgic to it. And yes, before you all tear me down in the comment section, I'm aware that makes me the biggest hipster ever. So that has been a massive success. We have managed to get ourselves around about 6 stacks of gravel, around about 9 stacks of sand, and a whole ton of quartz. I've also got this shulker box filled, and also a ghast head. I can't remember if we've already got a ghast head, but whatever, it's cool enough to get them. And of course, whenever you do quartz mining sessions, all armor gets repaired, and pretty much all your tools as well. All is going well. Okay, thankfully I've got, I thought I only had 14 rockets left, but we have to make our way back home. This is really risky because things are incredibly laggy at this point in time, and it's getting really difficult to fly. Oh! Doing this is never particularly enjoyable because the potential for death is incredibly high. Also, the potential for finding quartz is also quite high. It's a shame that I don't actually have any inventory space. Now, one thing that I never really saw the point of was the concrete making machine, because, I mean, as far as I could see, this is just as good as it gets. But according to the hermits that I actually met at Minecon Earth in Boston, apparently it's actually really useful. So maybe that's something that we should check out next time we need lots of the stuff. Because I have to admit, it is quite annoying having to go out and pick up everything that flies everywhere. Anyway, now we are back over by the build, and I have built up the base, and I'm just very interested to see how this thing looks next to our other build. Because of course, you know, I haven't actually seen these two things next to one another just yet. And the answer is, it looks pretty cool. Oh, this place is going to start to look so insane. once we get all of the builds in place. And another thing that we're going to have to do at some point in the near future is I'm going to have to do some serious terraforming work on this island. In fact, do you think that's what I should get Scar to help me with? I want to modernize this island and make it look like a modern island. I don't know what that entails, but yeah, I think that will improve things massively, because right now it's looking a little bit rough and ready. We are now at over half the total height of the build that I created in the Redstone testing world, and we are hitting the same problem that we faced in the previous episode of Hermitcraft. It's something that I mentioned quite a bit, which is the old small build complex that we're having here, because this giant is sat next to it. So, I don't know what to say. I mean, I imagine once we get a little bit taller and we get some stuff on the top, maybe it will start to look bigger. But I think at some point in the near future, I guess when we start building farms that are above the ground, expanding upwards should get easier, which should mean that these builds stop looking quite so dwarfed. But one thing that we have run out of is actually glass. So we're now going to use this system for the first time. So that is 35 kelp blocks there. And in they go into the system. These are all smelting properly, which is good, and we have got a ton of dried kelp, and I can't help but notice that this storage system, which is exactly what I wanted to happen, has filled up here, and then it is gradually filling up here as well, which is brilliant. Oh, and of course the super smelter is working really, really nicely. I mean, I love watching this thing. It may not be fun, it may not be as fast as Cub fans, but it's pretty quick. These phantoms are absolutely lethal, but they are quite fun to hunt in the air. I'm sure it'll be more fun if you're actually good at Minecraft. Let's see. Can I actually get one? Come on. He's going in for me. Holy... Oh, wow, that was spectacular. Look how many there are. And also the tab menu is now counting how many you kill. So I'm actually racking up some pretty good totals here. Yeah. Oh, and there was a trident going past. It's all kicking off. Check this out. I am a bit of a phantom slayer. Now, hopefully, I win for October, because I think all the hermits are having a contest on how many phantoms they can kill during Halloween month. I think that's the idea. Phantom troubles aside, we have now reached maximum height. So I'm just in the process of constructing our little platforms. We need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks out, I think. And then if I take a look on here... Okay, so it's not 7 blocks, it's actually 6 blocks, and then somehow I've actually got to drop one of these quartz slabs downwards. 2 of these quartz slabs downwards, and I never know how to do this. I see some absolute pros do it with water, as in you place water, drop into the water, and then place in the blocks. But I think I'm just going to have to scaffold up, which, by the way, can I just say, is one of the coolest additions to the upcoming Minecraft update. We're going to be getting scaffolding blocks. That's something that I never thought we needed until they explained how it works, and then it sounds like the best thing ever. You just break the bottom block, and it takes down all of the scaffolding. So no more ugly dirt pillars making their way up through your build. That's going to be crazy. Oh, and I've just thought... One thing that I would really like to see with scaffolding blocks, speaking of not being able to place blocks downwards, how cool would it be is if you're standing on a block, you right click on the block with a scaffolding block, it then places the scaffolding block underneath the block that you're on. So then you can build scaffolding from there. Mojang, you know what to do. I think that's a cool suggestion. You can let me know down in the comment section if you think it's silly, but I like that idea. Oh no, not again, not again, not again. Oh, they're so lethal on tall builds. On tall builds, you really are in trouble with phantoms. I mean, seriously. And they just come out of nowhere. I'm getting up in the sky. How good is this trident? It's very good. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm impressed. I'm starting to... This episode has sold me on the trident. And anyway, we've actually finished up this build. This thing is now constructed. We've got all of the quartz. We've got all of the structural bits and pieces in place. We have got the central quartz bits going on right there, which hopefully should now all be done. So I think that should be everything completed. The only thing that actually is different is we don't have sea lanterns in these gaps here. So let's just quickly place those in, but that'll be everything finished. So here goes. Now we find out how this thing looks in the context of my base, which is obviously incredibly scary because this thing has been fully constructed. And I have to say, I haven't actually looked at it that much since I started building it. Yeah. I mean, it looks pretty cool. It looks like there's a lot going on up at the top there, though. Okay, so we're missing the glass around that area. That's something that I totally forgot about, which is definitely affecting things quite a bit. We might need to do a little bit more work on that. We might need to do a little bit more work on that one. You know what? I think I'm going to go AFK overnight, and then I'll come back to you guys tomorrow morning. I've just come back onto the server, and it's raining, and this is the first time it's been raining since I got my Trident, and now I'm starting to understand why this thing is so cool. Look at this! How fast are we even going? We are covering some serious blocks, so much so that the chunks aren't actually loading in. If I start traveling in this direction, things begin to get dangerous. Like, I've totally lost my bearings now. I have no clue where I am. I have just discovered someone's ocean base, though. Hey, that's pretty cool. Just to triple check, I have placed glass down at the bottom there, and this water is not, I repeat, is not going to flow down into any of that redstone. Okay, and that should do it. So we should now have water inside the column, which is hopefully going to help things look just a little bit more solid. And that has definitely helped. I don't know if it looks modern or if it looks kind of a little bit mystical in a way. But I actually quite like it. There's definitely some details that I need to work out, but for the time being, I think I'm happy with this thing. Now that I'm looking at it a few hours later, your suggestions would massively help me out. Send me suggestions on Twitter as to how things can be made better here and just make it look a little bit more modern, because I feel like it needs it. Anyway, moving on from that project over there, I think it's time that we actually rebuilt our nether portal room, because this nether portal that's standing up, looking ugly over in this section, probably doesn't quite fit the bill, so I feel like it would be a good idea to construct that as part of the city that we're building around our island. And actually, speaking of the island, I've recently had an idea for how I want it to look, and I think it could be quite a good one. Maybe I'll explain it in the next episode once I've given it some more thought. I'm gonna be totally honest, I've also come up with some really cool ideas as to what I can do with this thing, partially inspired by Grian's base, which I keep seeing on the horizon that looks absolutely magnificent. So I think I can take some of the essence of that and put that into that build, and it should hopefully make it look less like just a spire and more into an actual structure, because we want all of these to look like actual structures. Bit of a progress update for you. This is where we're currently at. We've got 2 of the modules in place, and it is using tons upon tons of quartz. We've got a decent amount left. I think that should hopefully be enough, but the thing that's killing us is the number of stairs that it requires. So we need a full stack of stairs for every single layer, and stairs use a lot of quartz blocks. In fact, this entire base is going to be quite expensive in the quartz front. In fact, this entire base is filled with blocks that are a massive pain in the backside to get. But they do look fancy though, don't they? Oh, it's coming together now. Believe it or not, I'm eating another curly whirly. I can't believe this has happened again, but Exima has briefly put up the phantom kills and I was top of the list. Yes! It's hilarious. I really don't eat curly whirlies that often, but whenever I do, good things happen. So maybe I might have to make it part of my daily routine, which I'm sure won't be good for my body at all. Right, there is the full structure all in place, and this time we've actually got ourselves a quartz roof. We had a decent amount of quartz left over, so I thought it would be worth actually using that on the roof there, and I think that's so much better than stone slabs, which is what we had before. But now it's interesting to see how this is all looking. Now obviously we're going for a very clear colour theme. As you know, the colour theme for my area at least is very much white. And oh my word, I think this is starting to look so cool. So the main thing to take away from it is I feel like this needs to be more substantial. This needs to be a chunkier build, something like this, because can you imagine how cool it's going to look when we get all of the farms in around this island and this massive build is surrounded by things like this? I think that's going to look amazing. This has made me feel really, really good. I've just realized I don't actually have any of the windows in place. So right now it's kind of like a half structure. I suppose we should probably do that. But no, this is, it's exciting. It's so exciting. I'm going to fly over here again. I want to take a look. I'm going to use up my last firework rocket. Yeah, I'm liking the idea. As I say, this just needs to be a bit beefier. I kind of missed the mark on that one, and I'm sorry about that. You know, I tried my best. I worked for hours upon hours upon hours. Like, seriously, I have spent probably longer on this episode than I did on a lot of recent episodes anyway, and most of it was just building things and tearing them down, and this was the best thing that I came up with. And yeah, now that I'm looking, I'm a tiny bit disappointed. So, at least we've got something done. We got this done, but this isn't perfect. I guess... yeah, I guess we'll have to work on it for another day. But, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, that is actually all I've got time for. I really do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.